Hello and welcome back to The Give and Go. I'm your coach, Reynoso, here with my boy
Soltero. What's up, y'all?
Canada wins on U.S. soil for the first time since 1957 in this friendly matchup in Kansas City. A 2-1 victory for the Canadians here underneath the Jesse Marsch project that continues its very positive momentum. And the USA is somewhat of a limbo as they await Pochettino's arrival.
Yeah, this is the first game post-Berhalter. And my God, bro, it is one to forget. Terrible result here. And the first half specifically, we got completely outplayed. It's almost as if we weren't there. If Canada were even just a little bit more aggressive, maybe a little bit more clinical, they could have gotten 2-3 goals on us. Cardoso with a really bad mistake. Terrible mistake. Tried to one-touch it, but gave it straight to the Canadian player. And they already had 3 players up in advanced positions. They take care of business. Schaffelberg gets on the end of it and puts in a really nice, low and hard finish. Canada go up 1-0, but it just got worse from there. Just the intensity wasn't there for the USA. Our midfield, bro, our midfield could not handle the Canadian press. We really couldn't. Cardoso, Musa, a mixture of Arison and Tillman could not handle the physicality that Canada brought to this match. We could barely hold on to the ball, and the very few times we went forward, we would immediately lose it. Pulisic, Balogun, they tried, but Canada were just so much more ready for this type of test than the USA were. And yeah, we did a little bit better in the second half, but I mean, you could say Canada maybe let off. It's a friendly at the end of the day, and they still ended up winning this game. David gets a goal. USA gets one back, but overall, man, this is just a really, really bad performance. And I don't know. I don't want to get too critical here, but I will say this is just not looking good. You know, it's just not looking good. I think we're still a little bit traumatized from what happened at the Copa America. I think the players are just kind of like, all right, where do we go from here? We're technically coachless. We don't know what the tactics are going to be if Pochettino comes here as coach, and even if he comes here as coach, because he still has not been officially signed. So there's just, as you said, we're in this weird limbo stage, and it's just fully showing on the pitch.
No, 100%. I don't know, man. Even though I'm aware that this isn't the best team that the USA could have brought to this match, and even the starting lineup, it's still a solid squad. But I'm starting to see like a reoccurring pattern of these American players when they leave their clubs to enter the international break. That first game that they play always seems to have some really weird energy levels, bro. That Colombia trashing that we saw just a few months ago came off the heels of players coming back from their club seasons and then arriving on the international stage and then just playing terribly. They played much better in that second match against Brazil. I could see this USA team playing much better in the second friendly that they have with this international window, but I'm starting to see a reoccurrence here, man, that I think needs to be acknowledged by hopefully Pochettino, which is get these players' energies levels up, bro, because that first half, for as good as Canada did play, and I'm going to talk about them in a second because I thought they did great with tactics and the way that they approached this match, a lot of it really did come down to just energy levels and effort. Canada was just swinging the ball around the Americans' box, and the Americans wouldn't do anything, bro. They wouldn't step to it. They wouldn't challenge the ball, and ultimately it's why Canada was able to get 2 goals out of this match because they just have more effort. They just have more desire in this game than the USA, and I think that's a cause for concern because these players, if they play up to the level that they are capable of, can make this a game, bro.
Yeah, it's giving me Brazil vibes low-key where, you know, after the really bad World Cup for Brazil since they couldn't get past Croatia, Brazil have been weird, right? They've had really weird results for the last 2 years. And I'd say since that Colombia game, basically, the USA's motivation levels have just not been there. They just haven't been there, man. Like, we'll have a couple of spells in each game where we show our class, we show our potential, but that's it. But you got to manage 90 minutes, and I'm just not seeing it. And I don't know what's going to happen. It's got to be on the coach because I think that's ultimately where Berhalter went wrong. He just couldn't manage this side. But yeah. I mean, all I can hope for is that the players come together under this new coach and just clean slate. Let's completely forget about the past, what has happened under this weird but somewhat successful tenure of Berhalter. Let's just forget about it. Let's start a new era. The talent is there, right? We know we have some really good players, some really good young players as well. So if we can just put the correct pieces together, obviously we can play really good football. But right now, the product is not there.
I'd like to chalk this up to babysitter Berhalter has left the kids at home. And when the kids were expecting the real father to show up and said they got stepdad Vargas. Varas. I keep saying Vargas. Varas. And so they're acting a little weird.
Yeah.
Like, who's this guy? This isn't who I'm expecting.
Yeah.
And so I think this is going to be a really weird international window. We talked about it when we saw the reaction to the roster, that this is going to be a very weird situation to go into. And there's not much to take away because this team won't truly show its real colors until Pochettino is guiding them day in, day out. So We'll just have to wait and see. I'm going to chalk it up to just this weird period that they're in. But, bro, if it continues, then this really is a cause for concern in the build to the World Cup.
It just sucks, though, because first off, I do agree. Like, I do chalk this up to being in limbo. But, like, come on, man. Like, Johnny Cardoso, you're playing in Spain, man. You've been playing in Brazil prior to that. We have a lot of high hopes for you to show up. You get the call-up. You get the start. Show up. It didn't happen, man. Same with Tillman Aronson. I mean, he was trying, but Pulisic was bad today too. Pulisic was terrible, actually. He could not hold on to the ball. Every time a body got on him, he just lost it. And then he would just try and draw a foul. It never came. I thought the performance from every single player today was bad. Yunus Musa, again, an opportunity for him to command the midfield without McKinney in the lineup, and he just gets completely outran in the first half. So I'm just very disappointed with this performance because sure, maybe we don't know what the tactics are, but just show up physically, show up with your talent, with your technique. You play in Europe, so let me see it. And we didn't see it today. So that's why I'm very disappointed because of that. The talent level is too high to play this poor.
100%. Duke Cardoso has played in some of the most intimidating atmospheres for Internacional in Brazil in the Copa Libertadores, and he's played at the Bernabeu, for Christ's sakes. But Kansas City is where he reaches his ceiling. That's where he gets tested, bro. What the fuck was that performance? And Tim Ream too. I think we're starting to see his age, dude. Yeah. He got done in a couple times as well. But it also came at the feet of a Canadian team that is on a very good rise right now, that has somehow picked up the pieces that they dropped off a few years ago when they were on another great rise, but then kind of slowed their momentum come World Cup time. In comes Jesse Marsch and has completely revived this team with a semifinal appearance at the Copa America, but now this win to start off their international window. What was your takeaways from this Canadian side, this Canadian team that we saw today, which ended up defeating this USA team?
I can't believe that Canada are once again the best team in CONCACAF. I really can't. After the summer they just had, by the way, I think you can safely say they are the most informed team in CONCACAF, and it's not even close in my opinion. They were the best CONCACAF team at the Copa America, I think by a long shot, and with this win today and the performance in general, Canada are back. Like prime Canada, that Canada we saw
that version?
Top the table of World Cup qualifying 4 years ago. I think they're completely back. I really do, though. I'm not kidding.
I think it's close. I think I need to see it in a competitive setting against a CONCACAF team.
Well, I just think the style's different, though. Yeah. Like the style that was 4 years ago, it was about just sending the wingbacks way up high. You would have an offensive line of 5 players. But what Marsch is bringing is a little bit more balance. So I don't think it's going to be as dynamic, if you will, but I think it's going to be as dominant because we saw how good Canada was against South American opposition at the Copa America. We saw them completely outplay and out-tactic the USA today. I do think it's a different version for sure, but Prime Canada is here.
And I think a big reason is because of the rise of 2 specific players that I think have upgraded the positions of the players that were in there before. The first one is Bombito, who I'm going to go as far as to say is the best Canadian defender I've seen.
Dude.
Because I love Kamal Miller. I love what he represents, but if we're honest, we're talking about Bombito, who just made the move from MLS to, I believe, Ligue 1, and is now playing in Europe and showed his class today. He was immense, stopped nearly every single attack from the USA. I have loved this rise of Bombito where I first initially saw him in that match against Argentina in the debut match. I thought he was great in that game and then went on to put on a great tournament. Bombito, the rise of Bombito, I think has been really positive for this Canadian backline to now give them more assurance next to Alphonso Davies, who is such a class player as well. Then up top, you have the goal scorer. I mean, the MLS favorite out here for a lot of people, dude. Schaffelberg with another great performance, getting the first goal in this game and just showing that he continues to improve his game and continues to improve his finishing ability and always poses a threat on the offensive end.
Oh, dude, and I have to say, every Canada game, I will say this: Jacob Schaffelberg, favorite Canadian player.
Favorite
Canadian player, bro.
All time?
Alfonso Davies, amazing. Obviously, talent way better, but personally, Jacob Schaffelberg, favorite Canadian player all time. That's you heard it right here on the Give and Go, bro.
Okay.
But dude, what a finish! And just in general, I just love how dynamic Schaffelberg is. What he brings to this side. He's the perfect winger for Jesse Marsch, honestly, because he'll track back, but he's so good at staying out wide and just waiting for those long balls that can come from Eustáquio or Jonathan Osorio. And if you need him to get closer to the ball, he can come to it as well and combine. He really is like an all-around really good winger. Technique loses him a little bit here and there, but when you need him, he can give you a full 90 minutes, and he's very deadly if you give him a chance in the box. So Schaffelberg's great up top. And then, of course, what I really love about this Canadian side is their offensive line is just so chaotic. If you're the opponent, you don't really know where the runs are going to come from. Larin, if he was just more clinical, man, he would be perfect. He'd be the best striker in CONCACAF because he gets so many opportunities with this midfield, with these wide players. But unfortunately, he's just not clinical, but his runs are great.
Yeah.
And then same with Jonathan David. Like, he can come inside, he can stay out wide, he can cut the ball back, he can cross, he can shoot. You really get almost like a triple threat type of situation with Jonathan David. So Canada's offensive line looks fantastic. You add in the fact that Bombito's just being a beast at the back. Canada look insanely good right now, man.
They look good?
They look really good.
So best team in CONCACAF then. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
But if we're looking at results in the past 3 months,
Yeah.
they have been the best team by far.
And
by far, man.
It's like love and hate. I love that Jesse Marsch is coaching Canada. The narrative of it, man.
A little bit, man. That's got a little bit.
I hate it, man. I hate seeing that our neighbors got the guy that we should have gone for. That we should have tried to bring from here and be like, look, coach the USA at the 2026 World Cup. But instead, we ended up going with Berhalter. Mm-hmm. And now we get to see Canada reap the benefits of their decision to go for Jesse Marsch. Yep. And I love that Marsch is like, he's like, fuck the US.
No, 100%.
I love it.
And I really think that performance with Leeds, I think, really tarnished his view, because before that, it really did seem like he was the next man up for the American national team. But that Leeds whole saga, I think, strayed him away for a little bit. But Canada was willing to look past it, hire him, and it's paying in dividends so far, man. I agree. The last thing I want to say on the offensive line, because I just have a personal thing with Kyle Larin, man. I just
you do, yeah. You should.
I talked about him previously when I was reacting to a Mallorca game earlier from La Liga. Like, I think he's gonna get ran out of La Liga. I think he's more of a Ligue 1, maybe Belgium type of player. And I just get concerned because Schaffelberg is rising. Jonathan David has maintained his very good form. I'm not even worried about him. He had a beautiful finish today for that second goal. Yeah. But Larin has dropped, bro. He's dropped. And for as good as he is at his positioning and getting good spots and being active, he doesn't have that clinical finish, bro. And it's like no longer like their form is what I'm getting at. I don't know if he can actually find that within himself once again. So I need him to step up, bro, because I think he's going to continue getting these chances. I don't know if there's any other Canadian strikers waiting in line behind him. I think he's going to keep getting the chances, but if Canada really wants to reach their best version, it comes with Larin playing the way he did in the build-up to 2022. That's the Larin I want to see once again. So if he can do that, bro, this Canadian team has a great, great thing going for them.